One of the things, Pamela, that we also talked about when we were preparing for this show is that sometimes, we have others that have had a cancer journey that don't end up in the same place that don't have the survivor story. And often there's survivor guilt for those of us that have been through the cancer journey and, have come out on the other side. So tell me about your journey with survivor guilt. And I think I'd love to hear from Tim, and I've got my own perspective too. So Pamela, over to you about what is your journey in the survivor guilt spectrum?
My first experience BC, before I had cancer, was I'm the youngest of 8 children, and I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and one of my brothers had a fourth oops child, and they just were not planning it, and everybody kept saying she's going to do something big. She's this little girl that's about to be born is going to have the cure for cancer or something. It ended up that she got Pons glioma at age 9, which is an incurable, intreatable brain stem cancer. And they gave her 6 months, and she lived 3 years. And she passed when she was 11. And it was one of the hardest things that I had ever gone through up until my diagnosis. When you have a sibling that's losing their child, and it's the most horrible thing you can go through, listening to the tears and the terrible. So I went through that, and during that time I lost a bunch of hair because I was so sad and upset for my sibling that and I thought, this is weird. Well, I had no idea what was going to happen in my life later on, but so when I was diagnosed and I was going through the chemo, and I kept getting good reports and good reports, there was guilt there because I was making it and this little girl didn't. Um, and ironically enough, my now daughter-in-law, when I was sick, her mom was sick, and she was had ovarian cancer and didn't make it.
Wow.
So it's tough being the grandma that made it versus the one that didn't. And she loves me, and I love her, and we have a great relationship. But it's there. It is there, and I don't have guilt. I have questions on why.
Yeah.
Why me? So every day I try to do something to better the world.
Yeah. I'm curious. And, you talk about your faith. That was a big struggle of mine, was the why me and why not the other person. How did your faith play a part in that?
That's a great question. Again, I think, Erica, it's just I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
It's all God's time and God's plan, and He knew when I was going to go before I was born. So I have to. It's kind of like the story in the Bible of the father that gives the talents, the money to each of the sons. One buries it, one squanders it, and one invests it. Um, I have life, so I have to invest it.
Mm.
So it did play a big part in survival. I'm For some reason I'm here, and I've just got to keep finding it.
Yeah. And I'll just reflect. There's probably investments you've made in your son and your daughter-in-law. So thank you for that. Tim, what about you?
Erica.
What are your reflections on this big, heavy question, the elephant in the room, survivor guilt? Do you have it? Do you think about it? What's your feelings, Tim?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think about it. And my journey is kind of a unique one in that my journey with cancer is one that I've been very blessed that I haven't been really sick during my cancer journey,
Yeah.
that I've taken oral chemo medication, but it's worked really well for me and I haven't been really sick, and that so my guilt has kind of been in that I have felt healthy for the most part during my cancer journey. And I'm not like, I kind of feel guilty that I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing about it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, so, I kind of have guilt over feeling healthy while having cancer, and now I'm cancer free.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that I'm healthy, that like the show is here, and I've been able to build this community of people, and we're all here
Mm,
together and provide hope for people that maybe aren't as healthy and will be healthy,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So it's been kind of a surreal, odd kind of journey. What about you?
Yeah. Gotcha. You know what? I have a unique story too, and I think that's maybe the
Yeah,
theme is that survivor guilt is
yeah,
so unique to
for
each
sure.
individual. For me, I remember there was a friend of mine who, right after I was diagnosed, reached out to me because her wife had been similarly diagnosed with breast cancer. And we had the same nurse coordinator and the same surgeon. And, she went on her path, I went on mine. And then, a year later, I had heard that she'd passed away.
Mhm.
And, so our paths had gone so separate when they started at the beginning. Um, in fact, being very transparent, I got invited to a very intimate ceremony, which was the cremation of this woman. And so I felt so moved by what
Mm,
the gift I had been given to witness this intimate, 10-person gathering, but also the gift of my own life. Like you said, Pamela, like the investment that I get to make in the world, and so I sort of took that, and then at the same time, I have this other thing brewing, which is, oh wait, am I next? Right? And what I mean by that is, as people in the cancer space, but as a human, we all hear about somebody who's diagnosed. Right? I heard about somebody today who's got a child diagnosed with cancer. And I kept thinking, any bump, bruise, pain I would have, like, oh wait, is it back? Oh wait, is it back? And I went to therapy for that, and I had to really lean into some mantras and some mental toughness to say cancer is unique and that's not my story, right? Because
Yes.
we all have to put our one foot in front of each other every day. I have to take advantage of that investment I was given in this life, and I can't be paralyzed in fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's really been an interesting journey for me, because I work, my career is in the cancer world. So I hear stories all the time, and
Mhm.
I have to, protect my own mental health, but
Mhm.
also represent and recognize pain as it's happening. So it's a really interesting journey.